Hey, what is up, guys? We are here with the Reptile character breakdown. If you haven't seen our other character breakdowns, we basically talk about the character's notable normals, strings, special moves, differences between their variations, and just go over the basic game plan of the character. So today we're looking at Reptile. Now, here's the thing about Reptile. In all his variations, he has one move that's unique, and then pretty much everything else is the same about him. So when we look at the different variations, there's only going to be one thing that's different about each one, and we'll go over that. But for the most part, everything is pretty much the same about this character. But he's definitely a really tricky character. He's a very fast character, not in so much in his run or walk speed, but his mobility mostly comes from his moves, right? He has a ton of moves that are very quick, and a lot of his normals move him forward pretty far, and his specials especially do the same kind of thing. So as far as normals go, I should probably explain this first. So we're playing Noxious Reptile, and as you may notice, when you're standing next to Noxious Reptile, you constantly take a little bit of poison damage, right? That's doing 0.2% every second. And if you guys are wondering, that's not just if I'm comboing you, it's also if you're comboing me, or you're near me, or you're pressuring me, or anything like that. So it does a little bit at a time, and you can enhance that by doing down 3, and I do 0.5%. And if I do the EX version, I do 1% a second. So there's that. That's why he's taking damage over time. I'll just explain that real quick, but let's get into his normals. So the main one, back 2. That is definitely going to be the one you see a lot. In the corner, you can combo after it pretty easy, right? You can just do a corner combo, pretty beefy corner combo after it. Mid-screen, you're pretty much going to get like slide. That's pretty much it. You don't get a ton off of it. But, I mean, there's situations where you could capitalize more on it, which we'll get into. But, yeah, back to great normal, overhead, really fast, safe on block. A lot of things you like. Now, as far as other normals, back 1, down 4 right there. That is a low starter, special cancelable. It's pretty good range. There's that. 2-1-2 looks like that, pretty far, unsafe on block. It also has a cancel at the end, which is like that. It just leaps forward and it's an uppercut. So 2-1 is safe, but 2-1-2 definitely not safe. But it is special cancel again. That is one thing you can go for. So he has an interesting one, which is his forward 2 into throw and forward 2-1 throw. Now both of them can be like enhanced like that, and you get a little slam into the ground, and you get to combo after, right? Cost a meter, you can do that. So that is another string that's important to end combos with, and also, to start juggles. The other thing he has is 3-4, this 2-hitting string like that. Very good for damage in your combos, and also it moves forward, safe on block. You can special cancel it, really great. The other thing, back 3-4, a little sweep right there. Back 3 by itself is really good. Special cancelable again. Like a lot of his normals are, for the most part. The only one that's not is like that. That's not special cancelable. So yeah, he has pretty good normals, a lot of high-low potential, and he's just very fast in general. Like this is, yeah, like you're not going to block that. That is like, yeah, you're pretty much going to have to deal with that all day when you fight Reptile. That's just something that you're going to have to deal with. So let's talk about his universal attacks, because let's be serious. Like, he really has one change between each variation, which means his universal moves are really, really important. So here are some of his universal moves. He has Force Ball. It's down forward 3. Now, this is a fast Force Ball. There's also the EX version, looks like that. It's much faster. One of the things you can do with both of the Force Balls is actually cancel it in the middle with an EX. Whoops, okay. There you go, just like that. And the Force Ball stays on screen for a while. If I push him into it, then it'll actually explode. So if I run over here and just dash him into it, yeah. So if they happen to run into it, it can explode. So you can use that as like a projectile on the screen. And that is just something they're going to have to deal with. You can put another Force Ball out on the screen as well. You can do the same thing. That is his slow Force Ball down back 3. You can stop that on the screen as well, and you're just like chilling behind it. That's another option for you. And as you can see here, slow Force Ball is really slow. EX version of it is like insanely slow. It moves across the screen super slow and controls a lot of space, and you can run behind it too, right? Like you can just go for mix-ups and overheads and stuff like that. So that is one of the situations, remember I mentioned earlier, where you can combo off of his back 2. So if you do like slow Force Ball and then you run up and you do like overhead and it bounces, you can combo. So that's one of those situations. So that's his Force Ball. He has fast and slow. He has slide, back forward 4, EX slide. Looks just like that, and that is a really good wake up. It's super fast, and it has a hit armor, just gets him out of a lot of situations. Main projectile, down forward 1, besides Force Ball. It is a high. EX version is actually an acid puddle, which is good in the other variations, right? If you have them in the corner, that's great and everything. But what if you're just, you have this powered up and you have that, then suddenly, yeah, they're doing a lot of chip damage. That's a lot of chip damage. So that is something you can set up as well. His other special moves, he has 2 different overheads. He has down back 4, which is this lunging overhead. You can do close, or you can do far. EX version of it, pop up. And he has down back 2, which looks like this, right? EX version like that. That one's actually not an overhead, but it's like a launcher. It just looks like one. So that is another thing you can do. So if you want to confirm into it, you know, that stuff like that. That is definitely an option. The other move he has is his Reptile Dash back forward 2. It's really fast. And the thing about it is if it doesn't connect, you don't get an animation. So stuff like this is really good. That is really, really good. And if it does connect, you get the little classic Reptile Dash through. So that is one of the moves that he's had for forever, right? That is one of those. So yeah, you can see where the mobility comes from, right? You power up, you're in there, and yeah, it's pretty dangerous. So let's look at his other variations, because again, there's really only one thing that changes between variations, but that changes how you can play. So you saw that one was the chip damage. You see, I'm not doing it anymore. No chip damage up close. This version of Reptile has invisibility. So there's like his level 1 invisibility where you can still see him on the screen, right? You can see where Reptile is pretty easily probably. But if you hold that down, he'll go fully invisible where you can't see where Reptile is anymore, and suddenly you get hit by an overhead. Bummer, right? The EX version of that instantly puts him invisible. So again, force ball, slow force ball, that's pretty dangerous. Another option. So yeah, invisibility. And this is one of those things, like, he's really strong when he knocks you down in the corner, and then like he sets up whatever variation you're in. So whether it's invisibility, the chip stuff, or his other variation, which we're going to get into in a second, that is when he's the most dangerous. And the other thing that's scary about Reptile is like when he starts getting this stuff on the screen, like it's just dangerous for you, right? Like everything starts to get so scary and messy with his lows and overheads and all this movement he has to cover the screen really quick and a slow moving projectile. Really, really scary stuff. So let's look at his last variation, which is Nimble. This one, if you guys played Injustice, you'll probably be pretty familiar with. It is basically flash straight. So down, down 4, slows down time. And yeah, I'm really fast. My opponent's really slow. It can end in a couple of ways. So, oh, there's a cooldown on it. That's right. So if I happen to do a throw, a throw attack, it'll end, right? So that's one thing. If I happen to get hit, then it'll end. Another thing is that it has, you know, that time period where it just runs out. And the EX version of it just basically gives you more time to do stuff. So in this version, obviously the overhead, again, becomes pretty scary. That's one of the things to keep in mind. Other thing is that certain moves can be kind of looped, you know? That's something you'll see. And then, yeah, something like that. Pretty common combo. And there's more ways to get more damage off that, right? Like you can do like string in a slide and other different moves and stuff like that. So, but that's just something basic to keep in mind. So yeah, again, like if you have, and the other cool thing is, right, so when you do this and you have projectiles on screen, they move at like normal speed, which is really crazy. So like if you have 2 bars to spend and you get into this stuff, yeah, it's pretty cool. So Reptile, very simple character and how his variations work. And he, you know, doesn't have a huge difference between them, but because of what they do, each special move, like it changes the way you play completely. Against Noxious Reptile, if a character wants to rush you down, they're going to kill themselves while they do it. And against Nimble, if you're fighting against like a zoner, they have no more tools to zone you out. They're so slow, it's not much they can do. And Deception is is a really interesting one because invisible overhead low mix-ups are already, you know, that sounds pretty dangerous. So it's a really unique way to balance the character when, you know, he only has one big change between each one. And he's a ton of fun to play. Very tricky, lots of space control, really quick, overhead lows, lots of fun, really unique character, and I really enjoy him. So if you guys haven't messed with Reptile, I definitely recommend doing so. Thank you guys for watching the Reptile character breakdown, and I will see you guys again soon.